Hello, cinephiles, and welcome to Silver Screen Sips, a podcast where three idiots talk about movies. And today we have some very sad news about a particular actor, but also I wanted to mention a cool reference to one of my favorite online games, Plague Inc. There's a quick reminder that there are spoilers ahead for movies and TV shows that you may not have seen yet, so just know that you've been warned. We will be talking about War for the Planet of the Apes. And
War.
What's it good for?
What is it good for?
And now, a quick message from our sponsor, brought to you by Isaiah.
Hello. This episode is brought to you by Shaker and Spoon, a monthly subscription service that gives you bar quality recipes and ingredients designed by award-winning mixologists. For a limited time only, Shaker and Spoon is releasing a Drink Masters cocktail collection based on the hit new Netflix series. If you'd like to try some of the cocktails featured on the show, then head on over to shakerandspoon.com and use our promo code SIPS10 to get $10 off your first subscription. Again, that's promo code SIPS10 for $10 off, the number 10.
Not the letter.
Not the letter.
Not the letter.
Okay, so Lewis, since last week I butchered this intro to this next segment, I will never do it again. So go ahead.
Before we get started off with that, I actually had forgotten that I believe it was either when Dawn of the Planet of the Apes came out or War for the Planet of the Apes came out, but Plague Inc. I don't know that a lot of you guys have played that. It's an online simulator for infectious diseases. I want to say it runs on a fairly accurate scale if you had to if you actually pay attention. Yeah,
Yes.
it's also on computer.
I did play that for a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's also on computer. And while some of it's obviously exaggerated because it is a video game, I want to say it runs on a fairly accurate base data or base content idea. They actually released a simian flu version of the game for I think after War for the Planet of the Apes came out. But anyway, moving on. We're not sponsored. I just wanted to.
But great.
I remembered that was a thing. I actually did play a round of it. It was pretty fun. And it's very difficult, especially with the Apes one. But going on from there, we're going to go right into everyone's favorite segment for our podcast, This Week in Hollywood. To kick things off for This Week in Hollywood, we're going to talk about Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. What?
Wakanda. I did the thing. I did the thing.
The thing. Wakanda
the
Forever.
Thing that they do.
Black Panther Wakanda Forever is now in theaters.
I think that's what they do.
It debuted with $84 million at the Friday box office, marking the second biggest opening of 2022, falling right behind Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, which I still haven't watched, by the way.
Boo.
Really?
Terrible. Disappointment. Yeah, I was really disappointed with it, but that's a whole nother subject.
Oh my God.
If you guys would like us to film an episode about
It has also claimed the title of highest grossing November opening weekend ever. Wakanda Forever is expected to dominate the box office until Avatar: The Way of Water premieres in theaters next month. Avatar: The Way of Water, I don't think you have even a slight chance of blowing this movie out of the water, but I have heard critics say that it's not as good as the first. Anyway, moving on to Isaiah with celebrity sports, because
I can say that about this.
Wow.
About your mom too.
She's a nice lady, okay?
Yeah.
Just to add on to Wakanda Forever, as of the 14th, I believe, the movie made a $330 million worldwide box office.
That's insane.
And it's only been not even 5 days at this point?
Yeah.
Remember when Alec Baldwin accidentally shot and killed cinematographer Helena Hutchins on set? Well, now the actor is suing the crew of Rust to, quote, clear his name. Baldwin stated that the people to blame for the incident are the people who supplied the bullets for the production and the 3 crew members who set up the gun. The incident took place over a year ago now, but the case is still being examined today.
Margot Robbie revealed that Disney has canceled her Pirates of the Caribbean reboot movie with Birds of Prey writer Christina Hodson in an interview with Vanity Fair. The plot details were scarce as they developed ideas for a few years, but she was quoted saying it would have been a girl power movie.
Girl boss, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Hashtag girl boss.
Hashtag girl boss. Now, coming back to Earth, our boy, Steven Spielberg, latest film, The Fabelmans, earns him a Rotten Tomato score of 95%.
Woo!
Woo! Also,
Let's go, Paul Dano! Let's go! We love Paul Dano here.
That did not sound like clapping. Anyway, putting the new semi-autobiographical film in the director's top 10. With such a positive early screening for critics, fans are hoping the theatrical release will be just as great. Given the immense Oscar buzz The Fabelmans is getting, it will likely give the film a boost, especially when the nominations are announced in February.
I just also want to add, I'm very excited for this movie. The concept is it's refreshing in this industry.
This past week has seen some great losses in Hollywood. Leslie Phillips, the voice of the Sorting Hat, the beloved Harry Potter series, passed away on November 7th at the age of 98.
Gryffindor!
The actor starred in over 200 films, TV, and radio series during his career.
What a man.
R.I.P. Leslie.
What a man.
What a filmography.
That's
oh my God.
Yeah, that's a lot. Additionally, in Hollywood's obituary, Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman, passed away on November 10th at age 66. The beloved actor voiced the Caped Crusader in various animated TV shows, feature films, and video games. Many other celebrities paid their respects, one being Mark Hamill, who starred as the Joker opposite of Conroy. Hamill stated, quote, "Kevin was perfection. He was one of my favorite people on the planet, and I loved him like a brother. He truly cared for the people around him. His decency shone through everything he did. Every time I saw him or spoke with him, my spirits were elevated." What a beautiful little sentence. Rest in peace, Kevin.
I woke up to that news and I was depressed the rest of the day.
I mean, what do you call it?
It's literally the voice of Batman. Like, in anything, it's his voice. And same for like Mark Hamill. Like, you can't hear the Joker's laugh without it being Mark Hamill.
That concludes this week in Hollywood. Please, if you want to follow up on some of these news stories, go to our news page, our news tab in our Discord, and check our sources cited. And now we'll be moving on to Big Lou's Big Brews. That's me.
I love how he also butchered the sources cited because I always butcher it. So
Yeah.
it was nice to know I'm not the only one.
No,
I'm
I'm
the only one with a good track record. Got it.
Yes,
And
you're
let's
also
keep
the
it
one
that
with
way.
you're also the one with the track record for winning the games. So
And saying the wrong words.
yeah, and not knowing how to pronounce words. Anyway,
Excuse me. Me and Beth were both homeschooled, therefore we're both in that same boat.
No. You don't drag me down there because
Excuse me. You have butchered more words than I have.
I have not.
Yes, you
Name
have.
one.
Okay, I wasn't gonna call you out, but you said scarce instead of scarce earlier.
yeah, I was gonna mention that, but
Wait,
We're
what?
gonna-
Why did you guys say anything?
Because we're gonna
We
you.
just
We
let
didn't
you
want to hurt
go.
you. But if you wanted to call me out like that, I'm gonna catch you.
That's really funny. Oh my god. Scarce is not a word?
scarce.
Scarce.
Yeah,
Scarce. That was fucking stupid. Fuck English. Okay.
it's like I can't say biopic. So-
Yeah. Biopic.
Well, in England,
it's
apparently they say
actually
biopic.
pronounced biopic.
Yes, no, in England they pronounce it in biopic, and then here they pronounce it biopic. I don't know why. But I will be honest, I'm a little disappointed with my choice of cocktail the day, being that I'm just not a fan of this style of drink. But today we're bringing to you a cocktail known as the CEASAR.
Okay.
Hint, hint. CEASAR. Haha. Anyway.
Oh, I get it. I'm just kidding.
You really did not get that until now.
No, I did. I'm not.
She was being facetious.
Yeah, see, that's a big word. I know how to say that one.
Say it right now.
Facetious.
Okay.
Okay.
You passed this time.
The CEASAR is also known as a Bloody Caesar. It is actually the Canadian version of a Bloody Mary. The building. So sometimes it seems there are many Caesar recipes as there are Canadians of drinking age. The building blocks are usually the same. Vodka.
Is there maple syrup?
Mm,
Oh my god! I lost him. He died. I think his mic broke.
maybe. The building blocks are usually the same: vodka, hot sauce, Worcestershire sauce, lime juice, spices for the rim of the glass, and clam tomato juice, be it the standard Mott's, Clamato,
Disgusting.
or one of the newer brands. But every bar and citizen has a special twist, usually in the departments of spices and garnish. This recipe is an adaptation of the one used by the bartender London Richard at his restaurant Sorso near Calgary, Alberta, Canada. For vodka, he prefers Calgary's own Burwood vodka. For the spice rim, the nationally popular mix known as Montreal steak spice plays a part. The garnish is a pickled pineapple and a bacon-wrapped cheese cream stuffed pickle.
What did you just say?
Those words don't go together.
I understand. This version is a bit less complicated, but since a Caesar is a form of individual expression, follow your creative urge wherever it takes you.
Okay, I'm just not going to make it.
Canada, you gotta calm down, bro.
As long as you've got the Clamato and a decently complex spiced rim, you'll end up with a wonderfully
I'll show
savory...
you a spiced rim.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
This is
Oh, shit. I couldn't even finish that one. That was so bad.
That's what she
mess.
said.
oh my god.
As long as you've got the Clamato and a decently complex spiced rim, you'll end up with a wonderfully savory eye-opener that may render the Bloody Mary a dim memory.
No. Just no.
Honestly, I don't even want to go through the ingredients and everything because we're all going to just...
You
read
said
this.
clam juice earlier.
No, Clamato. It's clam tomato juice.
As if that's any better. Oh my God. Clam and tomato?
Exactly. So I'm not even going to bother going through the recipe or anything this time.
Listen, if anyone wants, yeah,
I want to hear this.
just go ahead, go for it. I don't.
Oh boy.
I need to throw up, anyways.
You have half a teaspoon of celery salt, half a teaspoon of garlic salt, half a teaspoon of steak seasoning. That's going to be for your rim.
Is this a marinating like a recipe?
No.
Okay.
This is to make the actual rim of the drink. So you know how you have salt on a margarita? This is your bloody Caesar spice rim.
Okay. This is a disgrace to Caesar. Just saying.
No, I know. And I'm going to get into... I have a good way to try and segue this into the movie.
Okay.
But it is... you're going to have a 1/4 ounce of lime juice. You'll have a little bit more on the side just to help with coating the rim. You have 2 ounces of vodka, 2 dashes of Worcestershire sauce, 2 dashes of hot sauce, 4 ounces of Mott's Clamato or other tomato clam juice, a pickled vegetable. Green beans are popular for garnish.
What?
You're going to mix your seasonings. So your celery salt, garlic salt, and steak seasoning. You're going to rim your glass with that. You're going to add your vodka to the glass. Fill it with ice. Add the Worcestershire and hot sauce and the lime juice. Fill the glass with Clamato. Stir briefly, about 5 seconds, and then garnish with your pickled vegetable of your choice.
Oh, yay.
My choice. Oh, I'm glad I have a choice in this.
And I want to say we can all safely agree that this is a 0 out of 5. Canadians are fucking crazy. I forgot to mention this was on the New York Times cooking.
New York Times.
Are you serious right now?
Fuck you guys. Okay,
I
so before we review
We're
it,
also
can
baffled
you somehow segue this into the film?
So, being that this is like an enormous disgrace to Caesar, we can reference the enormous disgrace that was the people who betrayed Caesar. Like, what's his name? Winter?
Is that his name?
His name is Winter, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
the large white gorilla.
Oh, okay.
As well as the disgrace that was the character that injured Caesar, Preacher. But I will get into that once we actually discuss the film. I want to say, before you guys actually give me your actual ratings, I want to say we're all going to agree that this is a 0 out of 5.
Yes.
If not a negative number.
This has got to be the worst drink you have ever
Mentioned.
I'm not saying you did a bad job. I'm just saying like this is something I'll never forget.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
This will forever be engraved in my brain. This will be a drink that I order for someone I hate.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's how we can kind of redeem ourselves. This is going to be the drink order for people we hate, just like I hate Preacher in this film. And well, I'll get into that a little later. But yeah, I could say we all agree that this is a horrible fucking concoction.
Yes.
I should have mentioned this on like Halloween because it would have scared the shit out of us. And yeah, that about wraps up my segment for the day.
Well,
Silence is
yeah,
all.
I really think that's all. I think that's about all we can say about it. It's just fucking disgusting. For those who like Bloody Marys, Ellis, I think
you need help.
I think even those who like Bloody Marys, I feel like this is a little squeamish for them. Because I don't know.
I'd be willing if someone said, "Hey, what do you call it? Try a Bloody Mary or this thing." I would rather try the Bloody Mary.
I'd rather stab both my eyes out. Oh, was that not an option? I'm sorry.
Remember, guys, cream cheese, bacon wrapped stuffed pickle.
Now, listen, that alone sounds good. I'm not going to lie.
What?
I love bacon. Pickle? Okay, not the cream cheese part, but pickle and bacon. That just sounds good.
That's disgusting. I don't like pickles.
I love pickles and I love bacon. I love pickles.
I don't think those two are going to go well together, Beth.
I don't think. Never mind. That would be mean to say.
Wow. Why don't you say it then?
I don't want to. I take it back already.
No, I want to hear it. Now I want to hear it.
I was just going to be like, I don't think you two work together. And then that was it. But it could have been taken badly.
No, okay. I don't work well with pickles, yeah.
So, fuck this drink. And let's move on. Yeah. 0 out of 5. -0. Is that a thing?
Negative 0. 0 is absolute.
It's one of those damn imaginary
numbers. That's homeschooled.
One of those damn imaginary numbers.
Now, for my segment, it's Beth's question of the day. We have our season. I guess you could say it's a seasonal thing because it's every season. Trivia. Yay! Oh, so happy. All right. What are your sounds, gentlemen? Bing bong, as always, Lewis?
No. I will just have the bing, not the bong.
Bing.
Oh, we're changing it up. Okay. Isaiah?
Just the bing, not the bong. I will take the bong then. Bong. If he's just going to take
the bing. Oh, he'll take the bong. Am I right? Okay.
420, bro.
We don't condone drugs.
The bing, no bong today, please.
It's a bonging type of day.
Shaken, not stirred.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Planet of the Apes Trivia. I am your host, Bethany, and here I have with me Lewis and Isaiah, our contestants for today. Say hello, Lewis.
Hello.
Say hello, Isaiah.
Hello.
Now, gentlemen, before we begin, we must agree to be civil. Okay, we don't want to be apes here. Now,
wow.
Thank you. I made that up on the spot. It was
that
pretty
was
fucking good.
Speciesist.
Species.
Okay. Anyways, now the first question. Do not buzz in until I have completed the question. As always, first question is: what year does Dawn of the Planet of the Apes take place?
Dawn?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is Dawn.
Bing.
2026.
Correct. 1 point for Lewis. Now, for their second question, this one has multiple choices. So wait until I finish repeating the answers and then you may buzz in. In the first film, when the chimps are being tested with a puzzle, what was the name of that puzzle? Was it A, Jacob's Ladder, B, Lucas Towers, or C, Tower of Hanoi?
What a fucking choice there.
Bing.
Lewis.
B, Lucas Towers.
Correct. Lewis gets another point.
I was really gonna go for Jacob's Ladder. I don't know why.
Because it's a real thing, but it's a different type of puzzle. Now, Lewis already wins, but we're gonna do this one. This last question is for all the marbles, so Lewis, you don't win. Because this is my game, and fuck it, I make the rules.
Double points, baby. Let's go.
Double or nothing. Well, kind of. Now, how about actually? You know what? Fuck that. Scratch that. Here we go. This is for all the marbles. If you can guess this correctly. Now, make sure you choose wisely for your answer. Think long and hard. That's what she said. Who was the oldest out of all of the apes? If they were still Like if they were all still alive to the end of the last film, who would be the oldest?
Who'd be the oldest?
Bing. Lewis.
Caesar's wife?
Incorrect. I'm going to keep going until one of you guys get it right. So,
Bang.
Isaiah.
I'm gonna go with that. It's crap. What the hell? The orangutan's name?
Maurice.
Maurice. My guess is Maurice.
Incorrect.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Buck, the gorilla.
Which one? There's a lot of them.
God.
The first
Harambe.
gorilla, the first gorilla who dies taking down the helicopter.
Oh, Buck.
Yes.
That is correct.
Oh, really?
Hell yeah, brother.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
I will tell you their ages. Maurice was not far behind Buck. He was 27 at the end of War for the Planet of the Apes. Buck, however, if he was still alive, would be either 32 or 33. Now, the others' ages, because there's a few more that are also in line, was Koba. He was 26 when he died. Luca was 24. Rocket is 22. And Caesar's only 20. He's a little baby.
And he was the leader.
Yeah. But
Age before beauty.
wow. That was total wipeout there, Lewis. One.
Wow.
That was
Yeah,
rough. That was rough.
I'm
That was
not
the first.
updated on my Planet of the Apes lore.
Isaiah, what do you have anything interesting to tell us today about this film?
I do.
I don't know what the fuck just happened to me.
You kept going, and you really should have
Yeah,
stopped.
I really, I could apply that to a lot of parts of my life.
Wow.
Damn. That's rough.
Mm.
Self-burn, those are rare.
Self-burn, those are rare.
Okay, let's hear it.
So let's get into some facts. So when the movie was announced at New York Comic Con 2016, Matt Reeves explained that he and writer Mark Bombach were influenced by many films before writing. He said one of the first things Mark and I did is we had just finished Dawn. We decided to watch a million movies. We decided to do what people fantasize Hollywood screenwriters get to do, but no one actually does. We got Fox to give us a theater, and we watched movie after movie. We watched every Planet of the Apes movie, war movies, westerns, Empire Strikes Back. We just thought we have to pretend we have all the time in the world, even though we had limited time, and we got really inspired. So a lot of the movies that they had watched, there's a lot of influences that you'll notice throughout the movie, like Apocalypse Now, Empire Strikes Back, The Hidden Fortress, stuff like that. Speaking of which, the code name for the movie's production was called The Hidden Fortress, in a reference to Akira Kurosawa's movie The Hidden Fortress, as Caesar was leading the war from a hidden fortress for 2 years. And that's kind of where the idea came for that. Also, the reference in the movie you can find is that he is hidden behind a waterfall. Like that's where his fortress is.
Yeah.
In the movie, in Akira Kurosawa's movie The Hidden Fortress, the princess in the movie is hidden behind a waterfall.
Which, can we just talk about their home for a second? Because I would 100% live there. It was freaking dope. Behind the waterfall.
It's a very best place to live. Where's your white picket fence behind that waterfall? Living in a cave. Woodworking.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Woodworking. Woodworking behind the waterfall.
It's the gayest sentence I've ever heard.
That's the title of your autobiography.
Woodworking behind a waterfall.
White picket fences and waterfalls.
Or to reference a Brooklyn Nine-Nine, that's the title of your sex tape.
Oh, jeez.
That's the second Brooklyn Nine-Nine reference now.
Nine-Nine?
Anywho.
Anyways. Sorry, Isaiah going, anywho, took me out. I don't know why. Anywho.
So, according to Reeves, the treacherous apes being nicknamed donkeys is both a reference to the video game character Donkey Kong, obviously, and the fact that they are used as pack mules.
I was wondering why they were called donkey. I thought it was because they're like jackasses or something. I don't know.
I thought that too, but no, it's pack mules. Also, Donkey Kong.
That makes sense.
Now, Nova, who's played by Amia Miller, around halfway through the movie where they pick up the child and they're kind of going through horseback on the beach, Nova is on Maurice's back, right? That presented a problem because the actress, Knovel, isn't actually the size of an orangutan.
Right.
Therefore, Weta, the studio, Weta? It's a WETA, They are the studio that's in charge of visual effects, and is ran by Peter Jackson.
What a man.
They had to figure out, well, how the hell are we going to get her to look like she's hugging the back of an orangutan when the orangutan's like twice the size of the actual human? So they made a specialized backpack to put on the performer to wear that would add the weight and the size to support Miller as she hugged the backpack and not the actual actress.
Huh.
Are you telling me that meta is just weta, but if you flip the wumbo?
Yes.
Did you set it to wumbo?
Now,
Anyway.
Bad Ape, played by Steve Zahn. Bad Ape is the ape that steals the horses and then ends up with the coat.
Which I was surprised that Steve Zahn was playing him. Yeah. Makes sense, though. You can see it in the facial expressions.
Yeah. So when he ran away to get the little alligator and he fell, that actually was on accident. He actually genuinely fell. And so they kept it in. Brews just happened to like it so much, he kept it in the movie.
That's pretty great.
Which it matches the character.
Mhm.
Now, the scene where Caesar is like attached to the poles, kind of getting like sort of crucified outside of the cages, and he gets the water dumped on him.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the water was supposed to be warm, but the crew forgot to heat it up.
Oh,
so,
no.
So Caesar's reaction of like shock of when the water is poured on him is genuine because the water was actually cold and it wasn't supposed to be.
They're just
Oh,
like
no.
waterboarding Andy Serkis.
On
Just
accident, yes.
casually.
Just casually.
They were apparently the crew was very apologetic afterward.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't get fired, honestly.
He said it worked for the scene, so everything kind of worked out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the ending scene where the tanker explodes, which is an actual explosion, it was so big that the production ended up in the news because people were concerned of the tremors that the explosion was causing.
Wow.
Because I don't think they get earthquakes in Canada. They must have been like, why the hell is the ground shaking?
Hey, the ground's shaking, eh?
Hey,
Oh,
shaking, eh?
Shaking my bacon, eh?
Oh my god.
I'm so sorry, Canada. I love you. I can't wait to one day visit.
Oh,
Canada, our
Canada,
home
the
and
maple
sacred
syrup in the
land.
Bloody Mary.
So we've just lost all of our Canadian viewers. It does have bacon, except it's not Canadian bacon.
It's not maple bacon.
Have you ever seen Canadian bacon?
I have. It's just fucking ham.
It's just fucking ham.
It's literally just ham. But Eddie.
Now, for my final fact, Andy Serkis said the most difficult scene to film for this entire trilogy is the scene where Caesar gets to choose whether or not to have revenge on Woody Harrelson's character, the Colonel. As Caesar has to go through like a series of emotions.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like going back on all the stuff that he's been through, the loss of his family, everything that the Colonel has put him through, the fact that what the virus is doing to the humans, and the decision he has to make. So that entire scene was the hardest out of the whole trilogy to do, because he just had to go through all the basically every emotion.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's rage, there's sadness, there's pain, there's grief. There's just so much.
Yeah, no, I actually wanted to comment on that later when we were talking about the movie. I actually wanted to point out that it's probably one of my favorite scenes in the trilogy, and a definite kudos not only to Andy Serkis but also to Peter Jackson's digital effect on that, because that was a very difficult effect, I imagine, to portray on Caesar's face.
Also, I just want to add, Isaiah, Peter Jackson did Lord of the Rings. So, just saying.
The fucking pop.
Why are you? Yes, and
just saying.
Hmm?
Just letting you know.
Okay. But anyway,
Isaiah. I'm aware of that. I just want to know why you're telling me this.
She's trying
I
to
just want
sweeten
you to watch it.
Yeah, she's trying to sweeten the deal there.
Mm-hmm. If I told you Hans Zimmer made the soundtrack.
I know that's not true.
But it's a beautiful soundtrack. You got to admit, if you've listened to any of it, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's actually a gorgeous soundtrack.
I actually like it more than I like Star Wars soundtrack.
That is saying something.
Anyways, continue.
No, those are all my facts for today.
Oh, never mind. Don't continue.
Don't continue.
Okay, well, that was good.
Thank you.
let's talk about the movie.
Yeah. Who would like to go first?
Well, since everyone's so eager, I guess I'll go first.
Yeah.
How do I word this? It wasn't bad, but I still liked the first one more.
Sure.
But I would
That's
say it was better than the second one. So I gave it a 4 out of 5, which is I think the same as the second movie.
Sure.
And I think I take that back. I think I'm gonna give it like a 4.5 instead of a 4 for a few reasons. So obviously the story arc for Caesar and like what he goes through throughout the entire movie is very well done and it made me think of the video game The Last of Us 2. I don't want to spoil it, but those who have played it or have heard of it know what I'm talking about with Ellie's character arc. It's very similar in my opinion, or at least it made me think of it, where there's all this revenge and pain and rage, you know?
I could see it.
It's similar themes, and I like that kind of story. So I think it was very well done, especially when we were talking earlier with the scene where Caesar is going to kill Woody Harrelson and he doesn't, you know, that takes a lot. So the music also phenomenal. I really enjoyed the music, and also fucking Maurice. He is amazing. He's my favorite character throughout the whole trilogy. He's just that like fatherly, peaceful, loving figure. And he stays like that throughout all 3 films. And like, you don't need a character arc from him because he's like that solid piece throughout the whole trilogy. And you kind of need that. Otherwise, you have all these characters that are just all over the fucking place. And it's nice to have one character that you know who they are. You know what I mean?
He's the wise old man, but he's a wise monkey. Or
especially seeing him like parent the girl was just adorable.
Or what do you guess? Bad ape.
Mm-hmm. And also the only complaints I really had were, I don't know. Okay, so I don't know about you guys, but I felt that the animation seemed off in the beginning. Is that me? Maybe my eyes were messed up or something. Like the first 30 minutes of the film, it just looked like shit. Like they didn't look good. And then after that, it was fine. It was just like the first 30 minutes, I remember watching it and I was like, there's no way that the whole film looks like this. And I can't, it's like specifically the scene that comes to mind is literally the opening scene where it's like the apes working with the humans. Do you know what scene I'm talking about? And they're like military.
Mm-hmm. With the donkey, and they first like, I can kind of get what you're referencing. Yes, I did notice like a not like it was crappy, but just there was different in quality from the previous animation.
It wasn't awful, but it almost looked like they didn't put in as much effort on those apes as they did for the rest of the film. Like it almost looked like they were like, oh shit, we need to throw this in and we don't have time. Let's just really quick, low poly, like throw these apes in.
I want to say it had something to do with everything that was going on in the scene. I want to say, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's what I was thinking
try
too.
And kind of deal with the rendering for all the other effects that were going on.
Maybe, yeah. But either way, that threw me off from the beginning, and it got better as time went on. But off from the get go, I was like, uh-oh. I had like a 50-50 feeling on Bad Ape. Like I thought he was really funny and I liked him, but it also was like, I didn't know if he was necessary for like, I didn't feel like we needed a comedic relief.
Yeah,
it felt like a very Disney thing to do, you know, throw in like a funny character to make these quippy one-liners.
Yeah, especially given the like themes of the whole movie being like it's a war, it's dreary.
It's a very serious film. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you have this like doofus of a monkey that's just doing stupid shit and saying stupid things. And you're like, I get that he gives them the like location and brings them there. But other than that, he doesn't really do much or provides like anything that the other apes couldn't.
Right. And the other thing too is like he had such a drastic difference in his introduction, being that he steals the gun, steals the horse, takes off, tries to shoot at them, like while all covered up. You're thinking it's like a human person, and all of a sudden, finally, when they like catch him, it's like, please don't shoot me. I'm also an ape who can speak, but also I'm just some old doofus who like, please don't touch my stuff.
So I was a little 50-50 on him because I wanted to like him because he was funny and he was cute, but it was also like not the right time or place.
Yeah, no, it just didn't fit for me.
Two things that kind of tie together under the category of convenient. One, the avalanche. I understand the explosions can cause avalanches, but it's just very convenient that it just happens to wipe out everyone and not any of the apes. There wasn't even like a few that were missing. It was like, oh, everyone's okay. They didn't even show like, oh, we lost so-and-so, like an unimportant character or something, just to show that like, yes, it was a fucking avalanche, That was a little like, okay, it was a little movie magic kind of shit.
The other thing that I've understood from like a real life perspective of hearing stories of avalanches is that like, it's not even guaranteed all the soldiers died in that avalanche.
Yeah.
Some of them may have survived in like pockets of air that formed in there.
Planet of the Apes 4?
Planet of the Apes 4?
A hand just pops out of the snow.
Right. Woody Harrelson's character isn't dead.
Yeah, right. And then also under the category of convenient, kind of, Caesar just can walk all the way to the fucking desert and then die with a fucking bullet, and no one even notices until they get there. Like, they're in the fucking tundra, mountains, snow, blizzards. I don't know about you guys. I'm not a scientist, but I'm pretty sure that's a decent distance to get from that climate to a desert. So
yes and no. It depends where it is, because there is like a mountainside where you can have like snow on the peaks and like when you go higher on the mountain. But then if you go down to like ground level or like sea level, I want to say is what you're going to get at. It can be a desert.
That is a fair point. However, even if that is the case, that's at least a day's trip.
No, exactly.
Someone should have noticed that he was shot, or he should have died sooner. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I will agree with the convenience of it, because what is it? So they mentioned way earlier in the movie, like it's going to be a long journey.
Exactly.
And the fact that Caesar took a crossbow bolt through the ribs, and probably if it didn't go straight to his heart, it wouldn't have killed him right away, right? So even if it just went through one of his lungs and collapsed it, he would not really have like
he would be stumbling,
Yeah, he wouldn't have made that whole journey like very easily.
So easily. Yeah. And then also when Jacob and I were watching it, he made the point where I was like, I guess you could say that this was the reason why he was able to push through. It's because he wanted to see, everyone safe and everything and protected. And once he knew everyone was there and safe, he was like, okay. Because, like how dogs do that sometimes and like people do that in real life.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I guess you could say that. But the fact that no one noticed is what got me. I'm like, how did nobody notice you're bleeding from your abdomen area? That was pretty much all I had. I did enjoy the film. I know I'm ragging on it, but it was like a 4.5, maybe. It's a very low 4.5, though. I'm just giving it a 4.5 because it was better than the second, but not by that much.
Fair.
Thank you. That is the end of my TED Talk.
Thank you for your TED Talk. I will agree on some points there. I'm actually going to give it a 4 out of 5. But that's because I'm not even 50-50 on Bad Ape. I actually just straight up think he shouldn't have been there.
Mm-hmm.
I initially felt that way. So like until they reached the point where they explained the sudden muteness in certain humans and like the whole simian flu variation and whatnot, that's when like finally Nova made sense to me. But I felt like when I first saw Nova and Bad Ape, I was like, I don't know why these two are here. And then once they got to the point where they explained that the virus had mutated and it started to revert certain people to like, primal instincts or whatever, and they like lost the ability to speak, I was like, okay, now Nova kind of makes sense in terms of like why she's mute. why she's going to be like a critical character here. And then also, like, I knew on the other hand, like, yes, she's supposed to be like the human that makes Caesar kind of go back from this path that he's on towards like what Koba thought, where all humans are just going to betray you. It fed into Caesar's character arc. The thing about that scene, about like him going from like being shot with a crossbow bolt, barely surviving, which I actually thought Preacher's death was hilarious after the gorilla shot him with the grenade launcher. He just kind of fucking vanished.
Yeah.
But going from that to then suddenly throwing a grenade at a gas tanker to then sprinting away from an avalanche with a wound in your ribs and climbing a tree, that would have taken a lot out of you. You probably would have fallen off the tree. But the way I saw it, aside from like wanting to see everyone safe, I got this whole theme of like Moses leading the Jews out of Egypt through the desert.
Actually, that was an inspiration. They were kind of going for that.
Yeah, no, I figured that was definitely an inspiration, but I was like, I caught that. You know, I thought that was a very nice touch.
I didn't even catch that. Clever.
That was something redeeming for the convenience, I guess, in my opinion. I was like, oh, that's a nice, like theme there. I understand that probably was why Caesar held on so long. And then it's not even that Preacher like shooting Caesar, and critically wounding him like that. It's more just watching him go from like, I don't think I'm going to make it in the very beginning scenes to all of a sudden, like, he's the only one who notices the apes got out, to all of a sudden he's the only one who can focus on shooting Caesar, and then he gets blown up with a fucking grenade launcher. Like, no. I would have rather that, like, Caesar, even though he was about to kill Woody Harrelson's character, and Woody Harrelson's character chose suicide instead, I would have rather that, like, Woody Harrelson's character would have just maybe like shot him and then shot himself. You know what I mean? Like, I would have rather removed Preacher in that sense and just watched Caesar like struggle the rest of the film until he died. But that's, I don't know, that would have been a different opinion of mine. Other than that, the Moses theme, the loss of his family, all these other very serious things that Caesar has to kind of go through and like address in terms of his character arc, very well done. Andy Serkis's performance as Caesar in that scene of like all those emotions flying by in that moment where he chooses not to kill the general, very well done. And a shout out to Woody Harrelson too for his I want to say specifically that scene where he starts talking about like he had to kill his own son and explain like what the virus had mutated into. I feel like that was very nice in my opinion. I don't know.
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
And yeah, so that's why I end up giving a 4 out of 5. I think it's more like if you took Bad Ape out, then I would probably give it a higher rating. And other than that, I feel pretty satisfied. Definitely like a satisfying ending to the trilogy.
Yes.
Although Isaiah, there's supposed to be a fourth one in the makes right now, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to take place many years after all this. So I think it's going to be with it's not Blue Eyes, what's the grandson?
Cornelius.
Cornelius. So it's supposed to take place with Cornelius, and so this is technically that's going to be that trilogy. So this is going to be like the Caesar trilogy, and then the next movies will be like a different trilogy based around Cornelius or something. At least that's the idea or the feeling they gave for everybody.
Not that we really touched upon it because we didn't watch the 60s and 70s Planet of the Apes, but leader of the apes at the time of the original films was actually Cornelius, or an ape named Cornelius. His son was named Caesar. So it was like a transition from Cornelius to Caesar. In this case, now it's Caesar to Cornelius. And it could be that Cornelius has his own son named Caesar, and then it kind of ties once again ties itself back to the original. Yeah. But
that would be neat.
But yeah, Isaiah, let's hear your thoughts.
My thoughts is the opening of the movie was pretty freaking wild. It was basically like Ape Vietnam. It was like, oh my god. So I thought the opening was very solid. The idea of ape traders and all that was very, very interesting. That they can't even trust their own people, basically. And then it turning into like a stealth mission was pretty cool. It was they went very warlike. They said it was war for the Planet of the Apes, and they definitely delivered on that. And I think that was very, very cool because it's a movie about apes. The concept itself seems very hard to be basing stuff around, and this entire trilogy has been really solid. They've delivered on everything they wanted to do. So I don't really have a lot negative to say about the movie. I do agree. The whole bad ape kind of felt out of place. They probably could have cut that entire section out. If they cut that character out and that little side arc, because the movie's about 2 hours and 20 minutes, they could have saved 20 minutes and it would have been a 2-hour movie and it still would have been satisfying.
Oh, yeah.
So I gave the movie a 4.5 out of 5. I think it's just as good as the original, the satisfying ending. So I think everything just kind of works well for itself. Yeah, I don't really have a lot to say about the movie, which is a pretty good thing because mostly, when you have something bad to say, that's usually what stands out. But since all I can do is praise the movie, especially Andy Serkis's performance, my God, top tier.
Yeah. No, yeah, absolutely.
The man is a god.
He's the top of his class. So
I don't even want to say top of his class. I want to put Andy Serkis in a league of his own.
It is true. He is amazing. So there's nothing to comment on his acting. He nailed it perfectly. The story, yeah, it was a little bloated there, but that's again because of Bad Ape or a few little things here and there.
Yeah.
Woody Harrelson just kind of going crazy as the morally bankrupt bad guy was kind of wild. He did an amazing job as well, especially having to go against Andy Serkis. The pacing also is a little weird. I don't think it's as bad as Dawn. It's kind of somewhat the same, but like marginally a bit the same. But that's mostly because again of Bad Ape. I don't know why. Bad Ape is just kind of this weird asterisk. I do also enjoy the movie references. Like when they were talking about what movies they watched, you can see the references that kind of melded into the movie. Like Apocalypse Now, The Great Escape, The Hidden Fortress. Like you see it. You can see the inspiration. So the fact they kind of have this just insane, like you have Japanese samurai movies, westerns, or like Apocalypse Now. You just have like such a weird amalgamation of inspirations, and to make a movie like that, yeah, we go 4.5 out of 5, real solid.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, bro.
Hell yeah, bro.
Brother.
Now, to conclude our trilogy, we must do our tier rating of the three. This should be relatively easy. Now, I think we can all agree that number one on our list should be the first one.
Yep. Where's Rise?
Excellent introduction.
Yes, for sure. Now, here's where we might get a little tricky. I think War is better. Do you guys agree?
I don't think it's better
than the second.
Better than the second, but I don't think it's better than Rise.
No.
We're trying to say that it's the next on the list.
Next.
But even though I think I rated them the same, but I would still say that War is better plot wise than Dawn, only because of the focus. Like there's a lot of plot holes in Koba and some other things in Dawn, but we've already discussed that.
So then I think we're all in agreement for all three.
Yeah, I would say so.
So would you say Dawn is like A?
No, I would say War is A. Dawn is B.
So like that?
And there we go. Yeah.
Sob.
Easy. So obviously, Rise of the Planet of the Apes is top tier, number one. Then number two, we have War for the Planet of the Apes, the finale. And then the bottom of the tier, which isn't really that low because it's still a great movie, is Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Yeah. That's got to be the fastest tier rating we've ever done.
I don't think we've ever all agreed. So
yeah, that we've never agreed on anything when it comes to that. That was amazing. We need to do that more often. Okay, well, do you guys have anything else you want to add?
No.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to season 6. It was a short one, but it was a sweet one. This is perhaps, I think, our shortest season yet, right? Because right before this was Michael Myers, I think. Halloween was our second shortest.
Yeah, because it was 4 episodes.
Just a reminder, next week is our listeners episode. So be sure to send in your movie suggestions at silverscreensips@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Instagram at silverscreensips and DM us there if you can't email us because you don't have an email or some stupid reason. Next week, we will be posting our poll for season 7. So be sure to check our Instagram next Monday so you can vote for what franchise we do next. Our 2 options that are going to be up for vote are Jurassic Park and The Purge. 2 completely different movies. We'll see you guys in the listeners episode.
Let's go.